got 20 minutes. We need to get cracking.
Yeah, no worries. Let's get into it. Okay. Cool. All right. Thomas Erickson, Mork himself. The new album's out.
There you
Apologies for
go.
yeah, it came this week, so good timing.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna pronounce things wrong, but we'll see how we go. Yeah.
I'm used to it by now.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Cool. I guess I mean we'll get to the new album, but I wouldn't mind going back to the start if that's cool.
Yeah, sure.
Beautiful. I came to black metal around sort of 96, 97, but I didn't grow up in Norway, you know. How did you first come across black metal?
I suppose if you came into black metal that early on, I'm a bit younger than you, I suppose. So
Oh, sorry,
I
okay.
I discovered I went to a Mayhem concert in 2001 actually,
Mm,
and then I had no relation to black metal at all. So you can imagine a kid, 15, 16 years old, standing on the side of the stage and seeing barbed wire pig heads cutting with knives and blast beats and screaming. That was
mm,
something else. And I suppose that awoken something in me that I had to research a bit later on.
mm,
So I just, I had the internet connection back then, beginning of the 2000s. So I found the usual suspects, Bursum, Mayhem, Dark Throne.
mm.
And I was totally blown away. This was really something that crept up beneath my skin and into my psyche. And the vibe I got hasn't left me to this day.
No, that's really cool, man. So yeah, 2004 Mork starts, and then 2013 in Becoming the Forest issue 2, you talked about going to Dark Throne's rehearsal room, yeah, and then getting inspired to kind of do the first album. How did that come about? How'd you get together with those guys?
That was before I actually knew the Darkthrone guys.
Oh,
Funny
okay.
enough, I was a good friend of the guy who owned the house they were rehearsing in because they rehearsed and recorded their albums in the basement of a regular house
Mm,
up in the woods. And as I told you, I knew the guy, and we just hung out a weekend, and I got to see the place with the Fenris drums, the Ted's guitars and stuff. And it was like at that point, Mork, I was actually working on some new demos for Mork, which was way more extreme, way more bigger, way more epic, more polished, a bit maybe a mixture between Dimmu Borgir and Keep of Kalesin, what Keep of Kalesin was back in the late the 2010s or whenever it was.
mm,
And when I was standing there in that living room or that basement, it just hit me that, hey, I just need to stick to the roots. I need to be basic because at heart, if you listen to the first Borg demo, Rota till Ondskap, it's extremely primitive and necro, and I'm an AC/DC guy, classic rock kind of guy. I like grooves, simple stuff, less is more.
mm.
So I just decided, no, I'm just going to go from the basics and see where it takes me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And so you're multi-instrumentalist, right? Like, what'd you pick up first? What did you start playing first?
The guitar,
Oh yeah, cool.
yeah.
And then so a drum was picking up drums out of necessity, or you just kind of interested?
Like every 13-year-old wants to play in a punk band. And
Hmm.
I got together with some guys. One had a drum kit, the other one had a bass. And when the guys were cool, they were cool kids, 13-year-olds smoking cigarettes. And I never been touching a cigarette in my life. So when they went out on a smoke break, I jumped behind the drum kit. And
Yeah,
that's how that went.
yeah, that's cool. So 2015, Mork became a live act. How did that first happen? How'd you get together with other musos to play live?
uh, by that time, I had decided that Mork is my full-time thing. That is my passion. That is something I have to have in my life. And
Hmm.
of course, I'm a live musician, and I love to play concerts. So I have to take it to the stage. And by that time, I didn't know too many of the black metal scene people in Norway. I knew some, obviously, but I didn't have any credibility. So I wouldn't even, consider asking any of them to join me. So I basically went around in my closest scene of friends, you know, and with the people who played bass, guitar, drums, and stuff, and just asked them, "Hey, you want to join me and try out this Mork thing live?"
Mm.
And that's basically how it's been ever since. We've been evolving together, you know,
Mm.
and a tight knit band, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So after you had the band, obviously you're still recording everything, but do you think it changed the way you wrote at all? Kind of thinking someone else is gonna play this?
In the beginning, I remember we tried to rehearse some tracks of the second album, Den vandrende skygge, which came out in 2016.
Mm.
And I remember playing a song called I sluket av myra. I think that's one of the first music videos that's out on YouTube.
Mm.
It's a very eerie, Bursamish kind of song, but the chording is a bit awkward. And I remember standing in the rehearsal room and trying to play the song live, and it was like, oh shit, this is a bit awkward for my hands and fingers, you know.
Yeah.
Now I'm totally used to it because I've been repetition, you know.
Mm.
But back at that time, I think I just the thought struck me to maybe make at least the riffing picking part a bit more live comfortable, but I don't think I took it any further than just a thought. It's been just naturally what's been coming out of my hands and mind, you know, in the studio.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Um, Talking about that album, Nocturno Culto is on that album, on vocals, right? How did that come about? Like, were you guys sort of hanging out or something like that before that happened?
Yeah, that was basically in the beginning of us getting to know each other, I suppose.
Mm.
I was introduced to him by the guy who owned the house I mentioned.
Mm.
And it all started with me and my friend from the house, Kjell Arne is his name. We went actually to a movie shoot in Porsgrunn in Norway, where I'm playing tonight, actually, the same city, funny enough.
Cool.
It was actually the movie that Nocturnal Culto is a part of, if you heard about this.
Yeah,
It's a
yes,
movie
I know, yeah.
called Saga.
Mm.
And me and my buddy is, you know, just extras in that. We are walking in the streets and getting shot by the camera. And we are standing front row at a Sarke gig
Yeah.
afterwards. And that's when I got to meet Ted. And we just been keeping contact on the phone, on the messages and stuff. And then I just asked him, hey, you want to contribute to my song here? Because to me, that's a big honor, you know.
Mm.
And the coolest part about that experience was receiving a CDR in a letter in the mail, which Ted sent to me. He didn't file transfer or internet. He sent me a CD in the mail, and I got to scream "Nocturno Culto" of the song before his part, and that was
Yeah.
a cool time.
Yeah, no,
Great
that's
guy.
great, man. Yeah, sweet, that's cool. So yeah, obviously after around that time you started playing massive festivals with bands like Mayhem and Satyricon and stuff. You must have some pretty great memories from back then, yeah, when it all sort of kicked off.
Oh shit! Just by playing our first shows in small clubs, fucking amazing, you know.
Yeah.
Especially seeing that the audience are captivated by our sound and music. And we recently we toured in South America, and it was so strange to see people there in the crowd uttering my Norwegian lyrics. You know,
Mm.
that you know that's nothing can compare to that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. 2017, you put out here. Watch me ruin this. A remittance Dal. Is that how I
Yeah,
say
very
it?
good,
Yeah,
very good.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you got Yannick Wise Hansen, who also, you know, did the Burzum work. How'd you get together with Yannick? That's pretty special, man.
Yeah, that's pretty special. That's also a thing through a mutual friend kind of thing. And obviously, I'm a head over heels fan of Bursum, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
her drawings and stuff really was the first thing I noticed when I got into black metal. So it's been a special part and real part for me. That's also why Mork has drawings as cover art, because that combined with Norwegian poems, lyrics,
Mm.
that's the essence for me. I don't know. She hadn't done an album for years, and why she said yes to me, You have to ask her. I'm just really humbled and honored that she did. And you know, you've seen the album art. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's great. Yeah,
She even did a little piece for the new album too for me.
yeah,
So
nice.
we're still sticking together somehow. You know, she recently did a tattoo
Oh,
here.
sweet. That's cool. Yeah.
It's it's a big it's Odin with my corpse paints,
Awesome. Yeah.
and she did this one too, which is from Arimittensdal.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Cool.
So she's a really talented tattoo artist that
Mm,
she makes a living of, actually.
yeah. Excellent. That's cool. Also around that time you started collabing brewing beers, and you've had what, 3 or 4 something like that since then. Are you much of a beer drinker? Like, do you like your beers?
Oh man, I my fiance tells me I drink too much beer, you know. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any plans to do that again, do you think? Like, if you got approached again, would you be keen to do another collab?
Yeah, I would love to. You know, I was hoping to be able to do one around this new album, but it just didn't come to pass. The
Mm,
previous brewer I worked with wasn't interested because I think the sales was a bit slow on the last one. So you know, but there's plenty of microbreweries and stuff out there. So if anyone is interested, they should just reach out to me. These days, I'm actually in a long-term discussion with a Greek wine company to make some Mork wine, actually.
yeah, great.
But
Okay.
it hasn't come to pass yet. It's still in the making.
Mm, yeah, nice. That's cool. 2019, you guys played your first shows in the US. What was the American crowd reaction like? They were sold out, I'm pretty sure, right?
Ah, it was fantastic. First gig was in Las Vegas at the House of Blues, and it was 12 noon in the morning. We were the first band out, you know, just after breakfast.
Mm,
And when we entered the venue a short time before the show and rigging and sound checks and everything, it was, as you know, completely empty.
mm,
And then we went backstage, and then we were supposed to hit the stage, and then the room was packed. And
yeah, yeah,
you know, that's a moment all of us, you know, continue to talk about and bring up. That was a special moment. Mork out in the world and getting such a great response, you know, in Las Vegas. That's insane.
yeah, definitely. Um, and also another pretty awesome project you've got on the go, the Thomas Erickson podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what sparked that? Was your first thought to think, oh, I want to talk to these people? Or like, how did that kind of first come about?
I always, or not always, but for a little while, I have been a fan of the podcast concept. I like the relaxed cafe setting vibe.
Mm,
You know, that's something I enjoyed, and I listen a lot to the Joe Rogan stuff. Obviously, he's the biggest one, and I do enjoy his talks with certain people.
mm,
And what sparked this time was the COVID pandemic, you know, because our first gigs during that year was getting canceled because of this, and I was like, okay, this may be a long haul here,
mm.
so why not just try it out for myself? And I did. I think there's about 30 something episodes out there now, but it's slowed down considerably. I don't have the time or energy to keep it up anymore, you know. If any episode should happen by now, it's by coincidence because now it's all about the music again. So it was a little project I had.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it's good, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah, thanks.
So talking about other projects, there's some other bands listed with you: October Moon, Pale Kids, the Death Trip. Are any of them still alive, or is Mork just kind of like taken over
So I
everything?
only have one band and one new secret that is not revealed yet.
Okay, there you go.
But the Death Trip is actually the band of the Peaceville label manager.
Mm,
And he asked me kindly to contribute with bass lines on his previous album, and that was a cool experience. It was he has kind of the Bursum
mm.
vibe also, which I do enjoy, and I think he likes the work I do, you know. So you know, it goes hand in hand. So I don't know what he's up to these days, but hopefully he's making music too. You know,
Mm. Yeah, that's cool.
we
When
have
do you,
we have 5 minutes now. I'm sorry to say.
yeah, no, that's all good. That's all good. When do you think we'll hear about this secret project? Like, is it in the near future, or are we going to be waiting a little bit for that?
It's itching beneath my skin, man. I hope
Yeah,
sooner than later because it's bugging me for a while now.
yeah, fair enough. Then.
Hopefully you will enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. That's cool. And talking about other music, what have you been checking out lately? What are you listening to?
Oh man, I don't check out much music, man. I'm a piece of shit when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I just listen to the old stuff. You know, every like 60s, 70s, 80s stuff. You
Hmm.
know, I'm not a big music shark in a way, you know, because I get plenty of it by just doing it on my own. And yeah, it's a bit strange. I suppose one should be a massive music lover, but I just need the vibe of the music in my life. It's not like I'm headhunting music anymore.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough then. So yeah, the new record, Zipet. Am I saying that right?
Deep it.
Zipet. Okay.
Yes.
So it's come out 10 years after the first one. How do you think Mork has changed, since back then?
Oh, I have a good answer for that, and that is the evolution has been really natural, and
Hmm.
that's really cool. The band, the music has grown side by side with myself, and that
Mhm.
is what you have. That's why you have longevity. That's why people are into it.
Hmm.
And I'm still into it because if I've been faking it for 20 years, then I would somewhere way along the line just jump off. So it takes me wherever it needs to go, you know. Nothing is made to be liked or to be true or anything like that. It's what I do and take it or leave it. And I think that's the most healthy approach, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And can you imagine in 10 years' time, are you still going to be going strong with this one, or you change it up a bit? What can you see in 10 years?
I really do think Mork will be around. I
Mhm.
hope I will have my health in 10 years. I'm pushing 50.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know what happens, you know. I think Mork is something I will have in my system for a long, long, long while, you know. I don't think, you know, I'm almost 40 now. I don't think I will change too much in 10 years, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I can promise you this, if I get dropped by Peace Wheel and no other label wants to touch me, I will probably still be doing Mork, but, you know, DIY, maybe.
Mm. Yeah, hell yeah. That's good to hear, man. Cool. All right, Thomas, I better let you have a breather before in the next one of these. But thanks heaps for your
Thank
time,
you,
man.
man.
It was really cool to chat. Yeah.
See you sometime, okay?
Yeah, I hope you make it over here, man. They've been amazing. Thanks, dude.
Tell, tell the bookers.
Yeah, we'll do, man. See ya.
Cool.